Let me give you a real example from my life of how prophecy unfolds when the Lord has spoken. Between 08 and 10, my wife and I was in Bible college in Columbus, Ohio. And in the last semester in Bible college, we was at the home of a pastor. His son had visited us that night. It was the first time I met his son, and we was in worship. And while we was in worship, something very supernatural happened that night. And I ran home and recorded it in my journal. I took a screenshot of that journal recording from 2009. And I want to read to you exactly what I wrote in my journal in June of 2009. What year did I write this? June of 2009. Okay, this is what I wrote. I said, tonight, Lena and I fellowship with Pastor Pete and his family. And as we sat and spoke in his home, a time of worship broke out and ensued. And it was at the height of our time of worship and songs of praise, his son Junior came to me, laid hands on me, and began to pray and prophesy to me. And he spoke to me this: a time of testing and refining was coming. He spoke to me of a major decision that need to be made in the very near future. He spoke to me of an army of young people following me. He spoke to me of pastoring, but before that, youth pastoring. He spoke to me of the impact of my ministry to the next generation. He spoke to me of a ministry imparted into me of God that will be controversial in culture. He said to me it will be called the gospel. He spoke of geographical failure from my past and how God was using my failure in this season to stretch me. He spoke of God sending me here to Ohio strategically. And lastly, the things he said to me, these things will begin to happen in your life very soon, as in the very next season. He said, do not worry. And with that, he embraced me. He left from that moment. This was in 2009. Okay. Wrote it down in my journal. The major decision we had to make is where Lena and I was going to go to start a church. In 6 months, we had to make that decision, prayed about all of these cities, wanted to go to D.C., wanted to be in the Northeast, wanted to be near New York, put Atlanta at the bottom of the list, did not want to come to Atlanta, used to sin a lot in college in Atlanta, did not like the heat, did not want to come here. The Lord sent me here against my will. I had to obey him. That was the difficult decision I had to make. 6 months after my wife and I arrived here, I got a job as a youth pastor in South Atlanta. He said things will begin to happen very quickly. 1 year after that job, the Lord called us to start our very first church. 2 years after that moment, our first church is born, which was called Victory Church, in October 2012. I look up this day after 12 years of pastoring, and there is an army of young people under the banner of 2819.